Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Sides of the Best Part, a podcast where we learn about the amazing passion projects undertaken by college students that are not related to the major. For our next guest, we have with us Pamela. Can you introduce yourself?
Hey guys, my name is Pamela. People call me Pamela. And what I do for fun is dance on the side. Yeah.
So what's your year and your major?
I'm a sophomore, behavior community health major.
Nice. So sort of talk through like how you got involved in dance and like what projects you've been doing with it so far.
Yeah. So I've been dancing like since forever, but like went into a dance studio when I was like 2 or 3 years old. Yeah, ever since I've just been dancing ever since, and like I've taken like huge breaks just because I used to be moving a lot. But yeah, I was in like a professionally trained dance studio from like 2 until I was 8, and I did ballet, tap, modern, and yeah, some hip hop.
Nice.
And then I moved to Kenya, and then there I was just doing like traditional dances for 2 years. And then I came back when I was like 12, and my mom was really bugging me. She was like, you have to get back into dance. And I was like, I don't know if I like it anymore. And she was like, no, just do it. So then I went back like 2 years later. So I didn't really like the other dance styles, so I just went back to the modern. So that was what I was like primarily focused on until like sophomore year of high school, and then I went back into African dancing. So like I've been dancing ever since.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's like super interesting just because I know for a lot of parents they might like let me not necessarily dive into like my parents, but
Yeah.
it's interesting just because a lot of parents, especially African parents too, they kind of think of it like, oh, if you're doing something like artistic or something that's not exactly like school related, like that's sort of the back burner. Don't like really focus on that and focus on your like school. But I think it's like really nice how your mom was like, please get back into this. Like I love seeing you do something like this and I want you to continue. I think that's such a like great thing to push your child to do because not a lot of children get that like opportunity.
Yeah, and like I feel like she really wanted, like when I came back from Kenya, she really wanted me to have like an extracurricular activity where it was like
Mhm.
an escape from school. And
Right.
like I think she was going through the list of activities that I could do, and she was like, maybe she should go back to doing what like she used to love doing. And I was like,
Mhm.
I feel my I don't know what. Actually, I do know what was going on. I was very depressed at that time. I was being bullied, and like I
Mhm.
didn't really want to like deal with the world at that time. So
Mhm.
I just wanted to be by myself and like just listen to music on my own. And then like those times I'll just be creating choreos in my head, but like I never like fully head on said, okay, maybe I should just do dance. So it's like
Mhm.
my mom constantly like reminding me like just give it a try. You never know until you try, and then like just coming to terms with it. It was like, wow, I'm happy like I did it. So
Right, right. Yeah, I think another like big thing is just kind of motivating yourself to say like regardless of everything around me, I'm just going to do it. Like it's like one thing to have it in your head and then you keep contemplating it, but the moment you actually like start, then you're like, "Oh, this was a good idea. Like I really should have gotten back into it."
yeah, because
So,
all of my friends were like in sports and stuff, and it was like
mhm.
sports wasn't really my thing.
So I feel that.
And when I went to high school, like literally everyone was doing sports. So I only did cross country and track because you could easily walk onto the team. And like luckily I got better. Like I got to be such a good runner, but I wouldn't have been able to do these other sports had it not. So
That's actually very similar yet the opposite because when I was in high school, I
mhm.
did dance, but I was terrible at any ball sport. Like I could not. You gave me basketball, softball, anything. Those didn't work. So then
Yeah.
you go to track and you're like, track, like it's
Yeah.
you're just using your body, just like dance, so it's gonna be great. The
Mhm.
only thing I could do in track was long distance hurdles. Everything else,
Virgo? Oh.
yes, I'm telling you, everything else short distance, mid distance, long distance, anything I couldn't do. The only thing I could do was mid distance hurdles, like the
Yeah.
300 hurdles. I sucked at everything else. It was so funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel that. So, like dancing in college, especially because you said you're a community health major,
Mhm.
how do you sort of handle going into, how do you handle doing dance and your dance projects and also being on Afro Chic and then also your major and all your coursework and stuff?
I just set a schedule for myself. Like I had to come to terms with that second semester freshman year because first semester was a really bad transition for me. Like
Mm.
um I don't I don't know, like, especially since that school is really close to my home, like, I don't know why the big it was, like, such a big bad transition for me, especially, like, because I thought, like, I really want to go to an out-of-state school because, like, I assumed that since I lived in Kenya for 4 years, like, distance doesn't phase me, like, I'll be fine. And then come first semester at UMD, 30 minutes from my house, it was not good. So,
Mm.
like, I just after like that winter break, I came back. I told my mom everything. It was just like she was like, "Yeah, I think you just have to be real with yourself and like set boundaries for yourself, like, and do it from the jump. Like, don't just wait until it gets really bad. That's when you
Yeah.
start doing it. Because like habits start like when you take initiative on them at the early on go. So yeah, I just make weekly schedules for myself and like I actually plan in times where I can do dance or practice in dance or even think about dance. Yeah, I can get pretty distracted on Instagram just watching dance videos one after the go. Like it's basically like one of those things where people are on TikTok and they just watch videos for hours. That's me on Instagram with dance videos. Like one minute I'm on there, oh, I'm liking one video for 5 minutes, and then next thing I know, I look up, it's been 5 hours. So
Ooh, yeah, I feel that.
schedule is very important to me, so
Mm.
that's what I've been doing, and then connecting it to my major, community health. Before I really took this dance thing seriously, like, science was, like, my passion, like, I thought I was gonna be a scientist, I thought I was gonna be, like, a researcher for life, and then, I don't know, I came to terms with dance, and it was like, I think I should stick more to, like, being engaged with the community around me, so then that's why I
Mm.
chose community health. Because I really like I'm satisfied whenever I help people. Like
Yeah.
that's like the greatest feeling in the world that I get. Like whenever I help someone, like it could be the smallest thing ever, and like I'll be so satisfied like forever. So yeah, that's why I chose
Nice,
that
nice.
route.
So you're like doing a well, it was gonna be like more fleshed out, but you're doing like a teaching class for kids to teach them how to like dance. Can you go into how you sort of got involved in that in the first place and like how it's going?
hmm Well, my mentor, my boss now, Miss Anastasia, I met her sophomore year of high school, and she's the one who actually started the dance program at my high school.
Mm.
That's how I met her. That's how I even started going back into African dancing. So I've been in constant communication with her since then, and yeah, like we've done outside performances, like we performed in schools. So started. She's been doing this program for a while now, but um, like the past 6 months is when it actually like, got approved, like as part of like the Montgomery County recreational programs for the set. So yeah, she reached out to me. She was like, "I'm starting my team for Culture Shock Movement, and I would like for you to join." So yeah, I'm doing it for 2 years. Now that Corona came, though, things have changed completely because it was specifically like geared towards ages 6 through 12,
Mm.
Saturdays weekly. Yeah, so students just sign up like at the beginning of the program, and then they'll be going on for 8 weeks, and then we start different sessions during the school year, and we'll be going into their schools as like after school programs, so that'll be a year long, and then we go back into the summer.
Mm.
But now that Corona's come, so we've changed our whole thing. So now we're doing Instagram live
Okay.
dance sessions, and like that's open to anyone because like it's on Instagram.
Yeah.
So yeah, right now we're just getting our word out there. But once this whole social distancing is done, yeah, we'll get back. We'll actually like start teaching kids.
Nice, nice. I forgot to like mention this, but we're doing the podcast through Zoom right now. I was like,
Yeah.
how am I gonna do this? And then I listened to a podcast and she was like, yeah, I'm on FaceTime. I was like, you might have done something. So that's why we're like doing it through Zoom. So the audio might not necessarily sound as crisp as some other episodes, but it's still good.
We're
Um,
trying.
we're sorry, it's not our fault. um, so you sort of mentioned some setbacks, and I of course don't like. I'm not asking you to go into anything too deep, but sort
Mhm.
of like any setbacks or hurdles that you encountered, as especially when you decided like I'm going to seriously start being a dancer now. Can you talk about some of like the sort of hurdles or mental blocks you might have had to overcome to keep pushing yourself to get better as a dancer?
Mm. Yeah, I can't quite think of any that, like, if I look back to the beginning, because, like, I had listened to Nadia's episode and, like, I think
Mm,
I'm the same way in that, like, whenever I don't really look at as hurdles of, like, a big challenge I'll never
mhm,
overcome. So I feel like the reason I'm not thinking of those early challenges is because they're so, like, I don't wanna say easy, but they were they were possible for me to go through. But
right.
I think the biggest thing for me right now is just, like, coming to terms that I'm meant to dance, and it's like I don't have to live up to everyone's pressure of me being in a certain type of career, or I don't
Mhm.
have to be a people pleaser because I am such a people pleaser.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to come to terms with that. Um, Also how people may view me. I think that's always been on my mind, just how people
Mhm.
view me in a way. But then I always go through phases where I'm like, you know what, this is what I do. There's some people who support me, and if people
Yeah.
support me, that's good. Like people don't, that's their own business. Like
Right.
if there there's someone else who might fit their type, and if I don't, that's completely fine.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, those are my main hurdles or challenges that I'm going
Mhm.
through.
I think that's, like, a really big thing because coming to terms and saying, like, "This is what I believe is my going to be my career from now on," like, that's especially in college, because a lot of people, like, might have certain majors, but, like, they have no idea if that's actually you might not get a job that's in your major when you graduate,
Yeah,
and then you might be in that major, but then you find something else you're interested in, and then you're like, "Should I pursue that?" Um
yeah, that's
but
really,
there's
really
also, like, a lot of pressure coming from especially the culture we grew up in where it's like, you have these, like, set list of careers, you gotta be a doctor, a lawyer, or something that's gonna make you stable money, and if you're not, like, there's parent and it comes from a good place, I think that's kind of
yeah.
the sad
It
part,
does.
yeah. Parents always come from a really good place when they're saying that kind of stuff, but at the same time, it's like, we don't want to necessarily disregard any of the talents or any of the gifts that we're given just
Mhm.
because we want a stable career. I mean, everyone wants a stable career, and there are ways to do that. That's the
Yeah.
reason why Nadia's episode was so interesting because she's running her business and that's supporting her, and then she's also doing dance. So she's sort of
Mhm.
already like even before graduating college has sort of already figured out like how to keep her
Keep
creative
yourself
passion
going.
going.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's, like, super impressive. So it's possible.
That's
Like,
something
that's
I'm
what
looking
she's saying.
forward to. I need to find my second thing for me, and I
Mhm.
feel like that second thing for me is in community health. I just have to explore my options within it.
Right,
So,
right, right.
yeah. I also feel like at the end of the day, I'm the one who's gonna be suffering, and they I don't know, I feel like a lot of these African aunties and uncles in the community, like, they're not I wouldn't wanna say they don't have your best interests, but it's like
Mhm.
they say they do, but you don't personally have the guts to come up to them and tell them, like, what you're going through, so it's like,
Mm.
at the end of the day, I'll be the one who's suffering, and I only
That's
have
true.
a certain small group of people who I'm comfortable with, like,
That's true.
opening up to them, so it's like, at the end of the day, if my passions are here, I might as well just go with it and run with it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think like that kind of goes back to the people pleasing thing you said. And I mean, even if you don't think of it as such like a big hurdle, I think it's kind of a daily thing that you kind of have to overcome
Mhm.
because especially with the age of social media and now it's like it's so easy to go on to social media and be like, "Oh my gosh, this person's so great." Like you start comparing or like there are people around you who are talking and then you feel like, "Oh, I don't want them to say anything bad about me or I don't want them to see me as this like different kind of person now that I want to do this and not that." But like you said, like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's about how you are satisfied in your life and whether you're fulfilling what your purpose is. And like
Mhm.
at the end of the day, they're gonna go home and sit down. And if they're
Yeah.
doing what their purpose is, they're just schooling. And then they're like, you should have done this, and then you're doing it, and you're like, oh my gosh, I hate this. And it's
Mhm.
like that's not fair to anyone in that situation. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so please do not be alarmed by the change in audio quality here. Obviously, I already mentioned this is a Zoom interview podcast. I'm actually really grateful that we're able to find a way to record it despite our situation right now. So, once again, don't be alarmed. It's all good. Keep listening. This is fire. So yeah, best part of sides, you already know the drill. Questions, my Instagram, ITSOMOLOLA. Ooh, why did I say that so fast? Yeah, so let's get into it. The first question I asked was, are you/would you ever become a vegetarian? I was just curious about this just because I personally, it's like come to my head time to time, but I feel like, especially because I'm Nigerian and growing up, like most Nigerian food is based on some form of meat. So it's like once you take that away, you're kind of taking away sort of the essence of a lot of food, and I don't know necessarily how it would taste or go without it. So it's something that I've considered. I feel like the best I could do would become like a pescapolotarian, I think it's what it's called, when you only eat chicken and fish. Red meat I can do without, I guess, but chicken and fish is where it starts to get to a point. But yeah, 75% said no, 25% said yes. Of course, it's only out of the 94 people that voted. But I just found it interesting just because, like, it's of course a very big decision to change your dietary restrictions and to change the kind of food you're going to eat, like, for your life. But I do think there are a lot of good benefits that come out of becoming vegetarian. So I don't think it's something that I would completely discount. Once again, pescapolotarian. But yeah. So next question I asked was, what is your favorite drink from Starbucks? So I was craving it. Little fact about me, in high school, I used to work at a Starbucks. So it was a little kiosk inside of a supermarket. So I've made most Starbucks drinks except for the really new ones. So I'm not going to advertise them, so I'm going to stop saying the brand name. But we're going to go into all these different responses because I'm curious to hear what you guys like. Okay, so we get caramel frappes. A caramel frappe was the basic order. Like, I'm not saying you're basic, but like anyone who didn't really, drink Starbucks like that always ordered a caramel frappe the moment they got there. Hot chocolate, yup. Oh, actually, try a snickerdoodle. Oh my gosh, try a snickerdoodle hot chocolate. Just thank me when you get it. There is a chai latte. Chai lattes are actually really good. I got it one recently and I was like, wow, what have I been doing? Vanilla bean frappe. A vanilla bean frappe is what your parents got you when you were too young to be drinking coffee, but they really wanted to go to Starbucks. So they're like, what can I get this child? I'll get you a vanilla bean frappe. I guess you just might have really liked it. I mean, yeah, it's basic, but it's not bad though. Strawberry acai refresher, beautiful, amazing, wonderful, sensational, fantastic. Refreshers are amazing. Matcha lattes. I'm actually not that big on animal milk. I prefer almond milk over everything. But I will say the matcha lattes, ooh, someone said soy milk and 2 pumps of vanilla. I feel that. White tea guava, that's recent. I think that's actually really good. I'm a big tea drinker, by the way, not the biggest coffee fan. Ironic. A small vanilla frap with a pump of raspberry. Okay, ooh, fancy. A white chocolate mocha frappe. Okay, that's the funny thing is, as someone who worked at Starbucks, I know how much sugar goes into those drinks, but I still drink it. Someone said straight coffee, the blonde roast. I'm not sure if the blonde roast is the one that takes off that coffee taste, but straight black coffee makes me feel like I drink battery acid. So props to you. Oh, a big one is put lemonade inside of all your cold teas or refreshers. That just ups it all the way. It makes it amazing. And a vanilla mocha. Yeah, straightforward. So yeah, it was really interesting hearing your opinions. Once again, Starbucks has a lot of sugar in it. I'm not promoting them, but I am saying their name, so they should pay me for promo. And now we're gonna end the segment, get back to the interview. Once again, do not be alarmed by the audio.
So when you decided to like start getting serious about dancing, how do you feel like that sort of changed you and changed your ideas about what you were capable of?
It definitely gave me a lot of growth, a lot of perspective to look out from. Because I honestly never, I think before like I even started performing, I never thought like it was a thing. Or I knew it was a thing, but I never thought it was like a serious thing that people could like actually make money from, or like,
Yeah.
have like just express themselves more. But yeah, like I think the biggest place I've performed at was like the Fillmore, and that was for our high school team. It was like a Moco's Got Talent thing, and it was like I think I had been there at the Fillmore twice before I had a concert, and then to like just perform on the stage, it was just a different feeling for me, and it was just like all my worlds colliding, like just little people. Like I used to be watching MTV music videos on, and just be like, I wish I made those dances, and like I wish I was like with the singer, like just telling them like 5, 6, 7, 8, move, like, and then like to be there at the Fillmore, it was just like wow, like
Yeah.
you can do so much more, like just from one experience, and like
Mm-hmm.
every day you're always learning. Like I don't believe in like just going through one experience and like that's it. And, like you
Right.
have the world set ahead for you. Like you're always learning from someone, and like that's what I love about like dancing and then like posting videos on Instagram, because like, you meet so much more other dancers and then you connect with them, and then you meet up with them like not like to collab with them or even just to see like how they dance, and it's like wow, like it always opens up my mind. It's like even after meeting them 5 times, the 6th time I meet them, I'm like, wow, I didn't know you could do this. Like, and it's so real, like when you connect with them, because like you relate to them on a whole nother level, because they also see dance as like their number one passion, and then they also have the problems of family and like living up to their expectation, and then they also have the pressure of like friends and like what they think, and then the pressure of online what other people think. So it's like yeah, it's been the best thing for me, honestly.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Like finding community is also a really big thing because you need people who are ready to support you, and like not just like a bunch of people, but even just having like 10 or less people that are like standing in like full solidarity with you is like enough to really push you to like achieve what you want to do.
Yeah, and like I said, like before this whole thing, I really felt like I was alone. Like I didn't really know what to do in the future. Like I'd go to parties and people would be like, Pamela, you're gonna be a doctor. Pamela, you're gonna be our lawyer. I'm like, what I want to do. Like I haven't even thought that far ahead. And so it's like when I went into that like different world for myself, it like it really opened up my eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, because like one of my best friends, and he and one of my other best friends, they're gonna be on the podcast next week talking about all their music stuff. But so like for them, and honestly including me too, it's like everyone like they call him like, oh yeah, you're the professor, you're the like engineer, you guys are gonna be doing this and all this stuff. And then it's so funny because like right now we're in a pretty early stage of like, and I'm gonna dive into this like next week probably, but we're in a really early stage of developing our company, like our entertainment
I just saw the
company.
post.
Yeah. We're in like we're developing it, and we're like working on dropping stuff and everything and being consistent with that. And I remember one day he was just like, I would be so content just like working in an entertainment company. I don't care about like all the other stuff.
I know that exact feeling he's talking about.
Right. Like, and I feel that because there's so much pressure to be like, I need to do this career. But the crazy thing about careers like being a doctor and being a lawyer and all these are they're very like all in kind of careers. It's like you can't just like go through years of med school and be a doctor and be like, well, you can. I mean, you can.
Go ahead.
But it's not the most ideal route. If you find out like years down the road that this is not what you're passionate about and you've been fighting the passion that's really been trying to come out. And especially at the age we are at, it's like it's best for you to just do that now and then see where that goes than to like be so far down a road that by the time you say, I'm gonna dive all in, it's like you're dropping
That's
so
a lot of money, a lot of time wasted.
Like you're wasting money, and then there's also like the opportunity cost of all the money you could be making. And I think it's even worse when you're in a career where you know the trajectory of that career. Like you could be making hella money if you just stay, but then you also leave. So that's putting more burden onto like, how is your future gonna look now that you have a glimpse of what a future could be? So there's a lot of existential stuff that follows that, but it's really important that you don't necessarily need to have it all figured out, of course, but you most definitely, especially in college.
There's more room for that.
Yeah, but you most definitely don't need to have everything figured out, but you most definitely, if there's something tugging at your heart, if there's a passion that's really pulling at you, you should you kind of owe it to yourself to explore it. Like
Mhm.
that's sort of one of the big things about this podcast. It's like if that's just something, even if it's not going to be a career for you, even if it's just like something that a lot of people talk about, like it's like self-care for them, and
Mhm.
it's sort of like a break from everything they do. And even the ones who have it as a career, that's still a sort of break from all the other things that
Yeah.
can and bug their life, I guess. So yeah, like if you have a passion, I
Go
say run with
ahead.
it.
Go
Yeah.
with it. Please don't like it's crazy because like me even posting videos online, it was never gonna be a thing. Like I started what? Because like I started back into it in sophomore year, and then junior year, my friends were bugging me. They were like, "You need to post videos on YouTube. Just post it." And I was like, so it took me like a good half year, and then I asked one of them to film it for me. That's how I started my YouTube channel.
Hmm.
And then like obviously, I feel like the only reason I got that many views was because I was posting as soon as people came out with songs, I'll do dances to them and then I'll post it. And then
Mm.
like it would take off. So then I immediately like decided to just like start posting on Instagram because I feel like it will be there for the long run, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. So yeah, and then like viewers would come from YouTube to Instagram, and then now my Instagram has been my hub. So yeah, I feel like if you have a passion, just go with it. Listen to your friends and family. If there's that one person who's bugging you about it,
Mhm.
trust me, they see the good in you. They see the talent in you. So like,
Yeah.
just go ahead and do it.
For sure, for sure. I think that's actually like a really interesting point. And that kind of answers another question I had, because the other question would be like, oh, what do you have to say to someone? But yeah, I think that's actually such an important thing where it's like you have the one person that's bugging you. And I think we tend to try to drown out the one passionate voice for the like hundreds of passive voices telling you to do something. And if
Yeah.
it's like one person's like, you really need to do this, like I need to see you do this, like if you don't do this I will be disappointed. And they have all these other people who are like, I mean, that's
It's
nice.
whatever.
Like it's okay. You can just like, oh wow, you were great, and then just like, oh, she's gonna be a doctor. Like
Mhm.
it's like, it's so funny when you see that. But the one or passionate person, and they're gonna be more, like it's not like it's just gonna be
Yeah.
one person.
Mhm.
You're gonna see more. The more you like go with it, you're gonna see more people. Like for me right now, if you didn't dance, I would be like, Pamela.
You're not the only one. I get
I'll be
people.
like, Pamela, I need you to do that. Like, so yeah, you're gonna hear so many people who are gonna see the same kind of fire that you have, and they're gonna be like, yeah, like, so yeah, that's really good advice. Listen to the one passionate voice over the like hundreds of passive
Yes.
ones, because that one, they know what they're talking about.
Mhm.
So it's kind of early question. We're sophomores, but sort of like looking ahead in the future, what do you think you would like? Let me phrase it. Where do you think you would like to see yourself after college as a dancer or in your career and so on and so forth?
Mhm. Well, in terms of dance, I definitely want to be better in all ways I can. As a dancer, like even just like learning to be a better teacher, because that's still a skill that I need to work on.
Mm.
Also like choreography, just like being able to understand other African cultures, because I feel like I'm just like focused on West African and Central, and then like I obviously know my own being Kenyan. Oh, fun fact, I'm Kenyan. But like, yeah, like Africa is so diverse. So like I just want to
Yeah.
explore that diversity more. And
Mm.
like by traveling too. And like one thing I was considering was like Peace Corps. So
Mm.
I might do that, relating that to my community health. But yeah, that's my main thing. And then eventually move back to Kenya. Have a
Nice, nice.
studio there and teach my people how to move.
Hey, that's
Yeah.
nice. So, do you have any social media you would like to share?
Yes. Instagram at _PAM.ELLA_. That's my dance page. And then my YouTube channel is PAM capital ELLA. So Pamela together. Yeah.
Nice, nice. So this was our podcast with Pamela, and we will see